Hello there, and welcome to math class. In today's lesson, we are going to be looking at division. And for this lesson, if you have the math toolkit, you need these three flashcards and item 6 of your memory pieces. The flashcards are divisor, dividend, and quotient. And then the memory piece is the division keywords. If you don't have the toolkit, that's okay. You can just write these down however you want to do them. You can get the toolkits from your instructor. I'm going to move my memory piece out of the way for just a minute. I'm going to put it on the next page of my notebook. We'll use that here shortly. But let's give our page a title. That's very important with note-taking. Put your main idea, your topic, at the top of your page. Really, this is the topic, not the main idea. There are 3 division terms that I do want you to know. The first one is the divisor. Divisor. This is the number you're dividing by. And if you write this out in a division problem, your divisor is on this side of that little house. Divisor. The dividend is the number you're dividing into. Division is a form of breaking down. So it is the total that is to be broken down. That's called the dividend. And the dividend is the number in the house. And then the quotient is the answer to a division problem. So when you do a division problem, the quotient will be the number up here. Okay, let me show you an example of a basic division problem. Let's do 21 divided by 7. And I've chosen this one because we used it not too long ago in another video. 21 divided by 7 is 3. But why is it 3? Why is 21 divided by 7 equal to 3? And this goes back to those iterations that we talked about in a previous video. If I use iterations of 7, there's 7 times 1. Here's the second iteration of 7. That brings me up to 14. And here's the third iteration of 7. That puts me exactly at 21. So if I write this as a standard division problem, 21 is the dividend. That's the number being divided. 7 is the divisor. It's the number you're dividing by. And I can't spell, I'm sorry. Divisor. The number of iterations required is 3. That is your quotient. Okay. So these are called the multiples of 7. And I will be listing multiples in this problem or in these examples. I will not be drawing the x's. I won't draw out those iterations for you. We're listing the multiples but not drawing the picture. But here are the terms: divisor, quotient, and dividend in a division problem. If you write the problem out this way, you will have your dividend, the divisor, and then the quotient. So same terms, different form of the problem, but it's the same concept with division. So let's take a look at the second example. And in this one, I'm going to use the problem 200, that's the dividend, divided by 8, that's the divisor. And I think it's probably a good idea to keep writing those terms. That helps you learn where they go. And then of course the quotient is what we have to find. So in order to do this, I am going to list some multiples of my divisor. Okay. I will not draw x's because that gets old. I'm going to say 1 times 8 is 8. But you can picture those x's in your mind. The first iteration of 8 would be 8 x's. 2 rows of those x's would be 16. 3 rows would be 24. And I'm going to go up to 4. Actually, let me go ahead and list them all for you this time. The highest you can go is 9. If you get into a 2-digit number there, factor, you've gone too far. So 9 is the highest you can go. So let's just list all of our multiples through 9, and we know that will be enough to solve this problem. It's probably more than we need, but it's okay. This first problem we'll look at how this works. And I just completely forgot about 8. I thought I'm jumping ahead a little ways. We forgot about 8 times 8, which is 64. And then 9 times 8 is 72. Okay, so let's work this division problem. The first thing I want to try is 8 into 2, and that won't work because 2 is smaller than 8. 8 into 20. So I look over here at my multiples. I have to get close, but I can't go over 20. So it's going to be 2 times. 2 8s are 16. And I will subtract. We are breaking down with division, so we subtract. And that's 20 minus 16 is 4. And then I bring down one number, which happens to be a 0. And this process starts all over again. I'm saying 8 into 40. I can't go over 40, but there it is exactly at 40. That is 5 times, and 5 eighths are 40. And when there's no remainder, when the remainder is 0, we say that this problem terminates. It divides evenly, so there is no remainder. The quotient is 25. Okay. This is good old long division. All right, I want to show you this same problem because I know some of you have school-age children, and this method that I've just shown you is called the standard algorithm, and I'll write that for you. This is the way I do all long division. But because I get questions from parents all the time about how can I help my kids with this new math, the standard algorithm is the way that I will do long division forever. I have learned this, and an algorithm is just a procedure, a process for doing a problem. This is the standard way of doing the problem. There is another way that your children may be bringing home, and because of that, I want to show you that way. I am not recommending that you use this method unless you just really like it, but it's called the partial quotient method. You can even skip this part of the video if you don't want to see it, but if you have elementary age children, they may be seeing this. So using partial quotients, I will work the same problem. It's weird, I'll tell you up front, so if you think it's going to confuse you, just fast forward through this part. But I'm using that same problem because I want to show you the same example a different way. So 200 divided by 8, we already know that the answer is 25. But using partial quotients, here is a way to do that. You look at your 200 and you think, okay, how can I begin to start breaking that down? How can I start breaking down the 200 towards 0 in a manageable way? Well, I know that 10 times 8 is 80. That's just something that I know to be true. So I'm going to subtract an 80 off of here. 20 take away 8 is 12. That leaves me with 120. But I need to keep up with what I'm using to do this breaking down. So I've used a 10, and that took away 80. That brought me down towards 0. I'm going to do that again because I can take 80 away from 120, and that would leave me with 40. So there is another 10 times 8 that I've taken away. So now I'm up to 2 of those 10s. And now I'm left with 40. So what times 8 would terminate this problem, would finish that problem off? What could I put in that box that would finish this problem to 0? In other words, I want to get this problem down to nothing. And that's a 5. 5 times 8 is 40. Then you add these pieces. 10, 10, and 5 is 25. And that is your quotient. To me, that messes with my mind. I don't like this method. But that's okay. Just because I don't like the method doesn't mean it's not a good method to use. So if you like this method, absolutely use it. And if your children are learning this may help you to explain to them if they have questions. But I'm going to go back to that standard algorithm that I've used my whole life. Okay, here is another example. And this is a really, really long division. I wanted to show you one that is is the kind of problem I absolutely hate. And we're going to use the standard algorithm to divide 2,448 by 36. So we want to know what that equals. So 2,448 is the dividend. 36 is the divisor, and we need to find the quotient. So I'm going to start by listing the iterations or the multiples of 36. And I have done this beforehand to make sure I have them right. Hopefully you will have a calculator if you have to do this kind of problem. And I'm going to go all the way to 9 because I don't have to go quite all the way to 9, but I have to go close. So we'll just go ahead and do them all. 9 is the most you can do. If you go into tens, something is wrong. So we are listing the iterations or the multiples of 36, and I promise I'm not going to draw the x's. 2 times 36 is 72. 3 times 36 is 108. 4 times 36 is 144. 5 times 36 is 180. 6 times 36 is 216. 7 times 36 is 252. 8 times 36 is 288. And 9 times 36 is 324. So those are the iterations of 36. All right, 36 cannot go into 2. It cannot go into 24. So I need to go into 244. And let me just draw a line right there so you can see 244 without going over. So when I come over here, I see that that would be the 216. 252 is too big, and that is at the 6th iteration of 36. So 6 times, and that is 216. We're breaking down, so let's subtract. Don't go crazy borrowing, just as you need to. 14 minus 6 is 8. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then, of course, there's nothing left there. Then I want to bring down my 8. And I am taking 36 into 288. And sure enough, there it is. It's the 8th iteration. So I put the 8 up here. These are iterations on top. 8 36s are 288. I subtract, and I get zeros. There's no remainder. So the quotient is 68. Here's your dividend, your divisor, and your quotient. Okay. And that problem is finished. It's a rough one, but it's done. And I didn't need to do that. I'm sorry. All right, the last thing we need to do is bring in our memory piece. And remember, we memorize memory pieces. They are the key words for division. And let me pull my page over so I can bring my picture back. And there it is. This is item 6, sorry, from your toolkit. And I like to color mine, but you certainly do not have to do that if you don't want to. My math notebook is full of colors. I just like colors. That's pitiful though. While I finish this, let me tell you, in the next video you will get to do lots and lots of practice with these. We will also be doing a final review very soon, where we will review the entire unit that we've studied here. So you'll get all of the skills that you've had up to this point. I would encourage you to try that review by yourself before you watch it with me. See what you can do just on your own, and then look at the video and see how you did. Now, your teacher may give you other instructions, and of course you follow those instructions, but that's my suggestion. Look back through your notes after you do the practice with me on the division. Try that review as sort of a test to see how you did. And then that will let you know if there are any areas that you may need to go back and review a little more. But I will see you in the next video for the practice of long division. Have a very good day.